Let's see, are we going? Oh, hey there, YouTube people. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to bring in Facebook Live people. Don't tell them, but I like you more than them. Yeah. Hey, thanks for joining me. I'll stop whispering in a second. Let's act like we know what we're doing. Hey, Facebook Live people. Like that's your species. Thank you for joining me, YouTube people. Like we're all a happy family. Facebook and YouTube people don't need to be divided, but I do need to rearrange this thing. I'd like to have a moment of silence. Let's do maybe just a quick hour 15 of silence before we get started here. Get a little more meditative. So welcome. I'm live in my living room as opposed to dead in my living room. I've got my dog Zephyr hanging out next to me on the couch. So that's a good thing. It's always a good day when I'm on the couch with Zephyr. So today, what I'd like to be rambling about with you is like a number of things. And I'm going to be very book-centric, behind the scenes of my book, why the book, why I use comedy in my book, why I use comedy in my videos, why I was afraid to use humor, let my humor out for the first 13 years of my career. So I'll talk about that. I'll talk about what I delusionally believe is the purpose of humor, the healing power of it. What else? Oh, yeah. Ready for this? I'll be giving away, whoa, I almost spilled my kombucha. I'll be giving away 3 of my books. Why 3? Because like 3 is the most compatible number with the Holy Trinity. Like 2 just doesn't really line up with the Holy Trinity. 4 is like, it's just too much of a crowd. So stick around if you will. There's my persuasion to get you to stick yourself to this video. I'll be giving those away throughout our discussion tonight. What else are we going to be doing? Oh, yeah. I'd like to take a bunch of your questions, and we'll be relatively book-centric, and I'll be getting to questions a little bit later. Like, hold your horses. We're not doing questions yet. You guys okay with that? You okay waiting a little bit? Strawberry Serenity. It's good. I like it. I got nothing on that, Zephyr. So, and I'll be reading book excerpts. I'll be reading little passages from my book, too. It seems like there was something else I was going to be talking about. I think it'll probably come up if it's meant to be talked about. But just to warm up the crowd a little bit before we officially get started, they say the best way to warm up a crowd is to just like irritate people. So I'm going to try to irritate you. Excuse me, actually, this will be irritating. Getting a good look at my armpit. Life is good with that. Cool, so just a little catch up if you care to be caught up. The last time I came at you live on a video, I think I was in Salt Lake City, Utah. I got converted into Mormonism, and now I have 11 wives and 37 children. So a lot's happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks, like big changes. And I'm here to convert you guys to Mormonism. Just kidding. But yeah, after Salt Lake City, there was a lot of travels. I went up to Victoria, Canada. Then I was down in LA for a little while. Then I was in Dallas, and now I'm home in Charleston. And also where my trajectory is going to be taking me, I'm going to be doing a book launch event in, well, a few places, but like the official launch on the official book release date this Tuesday, March 7th in Boulder, Colorado. If you're in Boulder or want to be in Boulder, I'd love to have you come out. We're going to be at the Boulder Bookstore at 7:30 p.m. And I'm really looking forward to just being with you, talking with you. I'll be acting like I know what I'm doing, so you can act like you're grateful to experience what I'm doing. But I'm looking forward to having a good time and connecting with y'all. And then I'll also be doing, from there, going to New York. There will be a book event there. That may or may not be on my website, awakenwithjb.com/events. Maybe it's /events, but it's on my website. Maybe on my website. I think it's on my website. Is it on my website, Zephyr? Maybe. Oh, and also I wanna give a huge shout out of gratitude for a new friend of mine, and I will call him a great new friend of mine, Kyle Cease. If you don't know who Kyle Cease is, then I would definitely invite you to check him out. He combines probably comedy and self-transformation. The guy has a heart of gold, and he has just platinum style humor. And I got to sit down with Kyle. We had dinner together, and then he invited me to his 2-day Evolving Out Loud event in LA. I just had an amazing time, very impactful for me, and I just think the world of Kyle and his work. And he has, even before I knew him personally, my favorite video I have ever seen happens to be a Kyle Cease video. I'd invite you guys to check it out. You can search for it on YouTube. It's called Flighting, I don't know what that means. How Enlightened Families Argue. You actually may have seen it. It definitely made the rounds on Facebook, and it wouldn't surprise me if you've seen it. But that is my all-time favorite video that I've ever seen. There is so much genius in it, so much truth, and there's humor. It's the kind of thing where it's like, wow, I wish I thought of that. I wish I did that video. But I don't need to do the video. Kyle did an amazing job. So check that out, How Enlightened Families Argue. So without further ado, Kyle, we're done talking about you. You're about to feel abandoned. I can feel you feeling abandoned. Just getting drunk off this 0.5% alcohol kombucha. Actually, I don't even know if this one's that high. I've only had 35 of them tonight, so I can still drive. Oh, yeah, and I guess not standing on ceremony, I'm also incredibly happy to say, officially coming up on Tuesday, my book is released. It's fully available on Amazon. I bit my tongue. Fully available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. I would be eternally grateful if you would grab yourself a copy of the book. For me, this book is not about the money. It is just symbolically something so much deeper for me. So you just know I would appreciate the living heck out of you if you checked it out, if you're so moved to. And if you're not, I don't want to manipulate you to. I'd ask someone else to manipulate you to. And also, if you're into multiple copies of the book, then you can certainly go right to howtobeultraspiritual.com. There's several deals on there. With you buy like 3 copies, then you get cool stuff that I don't have memorized. It's on the website. If you buy, I don't know, maybe 20 copies, you get something bigger, maybe 100, I'm not sure. And then like 1,000 copies, you get a bunch of cool stuff. Plus, I'll come speak at your event, your group. And unless you're like a creepy cult of people, then I won't. So you have to be like non-murderous cult-like people. So that's if you buy 1,000 books. You know, if you're murderous cult-like people, I'll still come speak to you if you buy 2,000 books. I won't do it for 1,000. I won't risk my life, my safety, for only 1,000 books. I'd definitely risk my life for if you bought 2,000 books. Like selling my soul for, grand of books? No. Selling my soul for 2,000 books, like that is a hell yeah. I feel that in my heart. It's like my higher self is saying, yes, JP, that is all you're worth. It's good for you to sell your soul right now at this junction. So anyway, howtobeultraspiritual.com, it's got those deals on it. So with that said, let's give away a book right now. You good with that, Zephyr? Yeah, he is so indifferent, which is a great compliment. So let's give away a book right now. Comment in for you to be entered. I'm going to just pick these at random, but what randomness I'm picking, comment in with the little namaste hands emoji and a wink face emoji. Want both of them in there in the same comment. Do that. And, hey, Timothy, see you. Do that, and then I'm going to scroll through in a second and just pick a random winner. It's like, wow. All I have to do is enter a wink face emoji and the namaste hands, and I'm entered, and I'll have a 1 in 1,000 chance of winning a book, JP. It's like, yeah. It's the best day of your life. This is the odds of you winning a book tonight are almost as good as you winning the lottery. Only better. It's almost as good, only better. Have a tantalizing drink of my strawberry kombucha. That is an enchanting kombucha. I have never heard anybody describe kombucha that way, and I like it. I like describing kombucha as enchanting, but only if it's actually enchanting. So let's just pick a person, like let's, a few seconds, you get your comment in here, and before, odds are you're not going to be picked. It's like, this is how you run a giveaway to get people to, really like comment in, enter themselves. Just start pessimistically saying, like, you're probably not going to win. But honestly, like, odds are you're not going to. But so, yeah, anyway, when I pick a winner here, before you walk away rejected and feeling like your life is over, you don't matter, just know, like, yes, you should feel rejected, but I'll also be doing a couple other giveaways tonight. So keep your rejected feelings here on the screen, on the video. You'll have a chance to enter again and then get rejected again. So, yeah, life is just going to be awesome. Let me just make sure I know how to scroll. Yes, I know how to scroll. Look at this. Okay, eyes closed. We'll see who it lands on. Heidi Firth. Just make sure that's a wink face. Yeah. Heidi, you would have been disqualified if that was not a wink face. I despise emojis that are not wink faces. That's not entirely true. It's like not true at all. So Heidi, please send me a personal message or a direct message on my, actually, if you can send it to my Facebook page, and I think you are on Facebook, just direct message me there with your address, and I will be more than happy to get a signed copy of my book to you. Heidi Firth, just remembering that. Last time, oh, and by the way, me signing the book, I don't know if that adds value or detracts value, but I'm going to sign it. So I need to remember your name, Heidi, because when I was doing the Instagram giveaways, I'd let someone know, like, hey, you're the winner, direct message me. And then I was having a lot of other people direct message me saying, thank you for picking me, JP. Here's my address. Please send the book. I'm like, well, I didn't pick you. And you're trying to trick me into thinking I picked you? It's actually a good ploy. Some people almost got me. I threw my back out today. Tweaked it. I don't think you can say you threw your back out unless you're over the age of 45. So I'll say I tweaked my back. And it hurts. Poor me. Heidi, congratulations. Like, it is what it is. Life is good. Congratulations. You should thank your parents. Tell God that you love him or her. I think God's a little more transgender at this point. And, you owe it all to Jesus. So we're going to get into what we're going to get into. And first thing we're going to get into is I'm going to read you a short passage from one of my favorite texts called How to Be Ultra Spiritual, 12 and a half Steps to Spiritual Superiority. Wait a minute, I don't think that's... I've got so many copies of my book laying around that I don't know which one is actually mine. I don't want to bend up ones that I'm going to send Heidi. Heidi, I hope you win all the damn books tonight, because I just don't want anybody else to have them. Heidi, I feel like we're really taking our relationship to the next level here. Let's get angry at everybody else. I'm angry at everybody else because Heidi won the book. Okay. A passage from How to Be Ultra Spiritual. By the way, this is in Chapter 4, Rigidly Yogic, Increasing Your Flow. Yogi principle of yoga number 2, stretching. Stretching is to yoga what gluten-packed bread was for Jesus, a thread in the very fabric of the holiness that is. As a matter of etymological interest, I don't know what that word means, but I used it in my book. That's the thing, when you write a book, you can just use words that you don't know what they mean. It's the beautiful part about reading or writing your own book, and now reading the book, as the case may be. As a matter of etymological interest, yoga comes from the Greek word meaning to aggressively stretch. Why is stretching such a prominent principle in the spiritual discipline? I ask, while pretending that you're asking. Simply put, when you violently stretch your body, it's a loving act of going to war against the physical limitations of the only body you have. Stretching sends a menacing message to your body that shouts, "You think you can hold me back, make me obey gravity, limit my joint range of motion to a normal 120 degrees? Not on my watch, you low vibration pile of spiritually underachieving meat. In this way, you increase your flow." I think we should all take a breath and just soak that in. Let me read you. I've got a couple quick proverbs. Remind people often, I'm not judging you. They'll surely not feel judged. That's an ultra spiritual proverb. You make observations, not judgments. All judgmental people's judgments come from them being awful people. That makes sense. Let's see, is there anything else I want to read? I like this picture. Look at that picture. This is from the chapter 11, Plant Medicine Compulsions. Guess what JP was doing in that picture? More from How to Be Ultra Spiritual later. So with that said, one of the things that I wanted to share with you tonight, you being someone who's been gracious enough to be interested in my work, there's a little secret that I want to share with you guys. And I use the term secret because it's a very attractive word that just got your attention. And now I'm losing your attention, explaining the attractive word that I use to get your attention. And that too is a trick, because now I got your attention back, now that I've shifted my tone of voice, and I'm talking a little bit louder and leaning towards you. We're building rapport. This is great. So, a little secret. I've shared this on a number of interviews that I've done for other podcasts and other people's videos, but I've never shared it directly with you, my people, like I own you guys. So a few of the questions is like, one, why do I use humor in my work? And And I think a question that I'd love to share, sort of like the behind the curtain look to before that, is why was I so terrified of sharing my humor in the public setting? So that's a good question, JP. Why were you scared of using your humor? Here's why. The past 15 years, the way I've predominantly earned my living is being an emotional healing coach. I've had a very busy one-on-one client practice, and since 2006, I've roamed the Earth as opposed to other planets. I haven't done other planets, but I've done a lot on roaming the Earth, teaching classes, workshops, and retreats on different emotional healing topics, personal empowerment, and helping people become more authentic. So during that time, I never let my humor come out in a public setting, like on video, especially. Like before I was doing comedy videos on YouTube, I was just doing sincere life advice videos, and I loved it. I find a lot of value in that, and I haven't been doing them lately just because time has been tight. But I'll be bringing those sincere videos back very full force before too long. So anyway, during the first 13 years of what I would call my 15-year career, I've been working since I've been 60. I'm 75 now. I just eat a lot of collagen. I told myself a story. It would be a terrible idea, JP, for you to let your sense of humor out. It would be bad for business. It would discredit you as an emotional healing coach and like as a sort of like a spiritual teacher. And worse than me telling myself that story is I believed that story. It's like I told myself that story and I believed that story. And it's weird because to a degree, I was trying to be someone else. I was trying to be someone who I'm not. And like I'd have this like image in my head, like, oh, there's Eckhart Tolle. If you've ever watched Eckhart Tolle on stage or on video, he kind of like sits up there and he's very informative, insightful, and brilliant. And, he's not really an entertainer. Definitely not a comedian. So like I was putting the burden on myself of like looking at sort of like that kind of archetypal teacher and thinking like I'm supposed to be that. Like it was an absolutely silly, ridiculous thing, self-imposition. Does that make sense? A self-imposition? It does now. That I was putting on myself, yet I was abiding by that. I was really abiding by the story that said it'd be bad for business. So really it was me betraying my comedic part. Friends of mine would tell you, like everybody who knows me knows I've always had a sense of humor. So it's not new, but I just like really compartmentalized it and didn't let it out in the professional setting, if you will. So that was a lot of self-betrayal, to be honest with you. Like 13 years of it, thinking like the way I am and knowing that a part of how I am is comedic. It's not all of me by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a part of the real me. So it was a pretty long-term, I'll be dramatic and say hellacious act of self-betrayal. Not very friendly on myself. And little backstory, now I'll get to that I don't want to digress too much. Maybe get to that backstory soon. So, lo and behold, I got tired of betraying myself. So in early October 2014, about 2.5 years ago, I put out my first ultra spiritual video. And at the time, I did still absolutely believe this will be bad for business, but I got to do it. I have this craving, like this creative force that wants to live through me, and I got to say yes to it. I really do. So sharing my perspective through humor, I need to do that. And at the time, I thought it was just going to be one video. I'll do one video. That couldn't be the worst thing for business. It'll be bad, but not terrible. So I released that video, and a few things happened. First off, I realized I couldn't have been more wrong. Like, okay, being comedic would be bad for business. Turned out to be really the best thing I've ever done for my business. It got me connected with more people than I could have possibly imagined. And surprise, like nobody likes being wrong, but I'm significantly glad I was wrong. And then it also taught me a couple other things. One, it taught me, don't believe everything you think, JP. It's like my certainty of believing that what I think to be true has zero correlation to truth. It just has to do with, it just is correlated with what I think is true. I absolutely thought that it was true. It'd be bad for business. So that really was a healthy dose of humbleness, just like a punch into the face. That in that lesson, I've been carrying it forward with me. Don't believe everything I think. Have my thoughts, but don't think my thoughts are true. By the way, I'd invite you to consider, does that work for you? Like, would you be willing to look at your thoughts and consider, I have my thoughts, but I don't have to think my thoughts are true. So to me, that was like I'll call it even a biohack, because I'm really like into using that term now. To me, that was really a hell of a biohack into my mind. I would say there was a lot of liberation and freedom and creative flow that came from this lesson. And also, to me, the biggest part of the biohack of don't believe everything you think is it was just on the tip of my tongue. Oh, it's what allows me, at least, maybe you can test drive this, allows me to not be a slave to my mind. Allows me to have my mind, but not be a slave to it. I think when we believe our thoughts to be true, when we have our beliefs and we believe our beliefs, then we are in the position of a slave to the master of our mind. I like my mind. I don't want it to go anywhere. I'm grateful for my mind. It's a wonderful faculty. And from my perspective, it is just that, a faculty. It's not who I am. It's not my being. And it's not my North Star. To me, my North Star, and this is just me being a little bit airy-fairy, my North Star is my heart. I would like to really honor my heart. Honestly, like be a slave to my heart, because I think that is a great master to be a slave to. And from, you guys have probably heard these statistics before. I say them all the time. I don't say them all the time. I'm just exaggerating. I exaggerate all the time. And that's an exaggeration. I don't really exaggerate all the time. But the statistics are that the electromagnetic field of the heart is 5,000 times stronger than the electromagnetic field of the brain. And to me, like, yeah, those are just numbers, but they're awesome numbers to think about. So would you rather be worshiping something that's 5,000 times more intelligent, maybe more powerful, and like powerful in a good way, not necessarily powerful in a corrupt way? It'd be funny if your heart was corrupt. Maybe your mind's corrupt. Think about that. Maybe your mind's trying to get you. Now you can be paranoid. Or would you rather be worshiping something that is 5,000 times less intelligent, less powerful? So that was a big lesson. JP, don't believe everything you think. That really helped me get more in touch with my heart. And then the other thing that putting my first comedy video out and having it do not only like, wow, it's getting good views, but also my business, my client practice is flourishing now. What all that taught me was authenticity always wins out. I'm a big fan, and honestly, I'm dogmatic about this belief. Wow, so now I guess I should not believe this belief. And I think that's true. I love this belief, but I can also consider how the belief won't be true. Here's the belief. Authenticity and transparency will always work for you. You'll always win as long as you're authentic and transparent. In other words, bet on yourself. Don't bet on who you think you're supposed to be. Don't push all your chips into who you think you need to be. Push all your chips in on you. To me, that was a big lesson, and I really, really feel that's true for me. I believe it's true, but also I feel it's true. So that's my heart talking. So I kind of weaseled my way out of that self-contradiction. Thank God for that, Zephyr. So for me, allowing my comedic part to come out was a tremendous act of authenticity. Now, I will say it would be very inauthentic for me to always be comedic, but it was very inauthentic for me to always not be comedic in the public light. So allowing myself to be sincere and be satirical, like, okay, that's more authentic than compartmentalizing, betraying the comedic part of me, and essentially treating that part of me like he's not good enough, like he's so defective, it will repel people away from me, and people will have less respect, and then I'll feel like, oh, people don't approve of me. So there's that. Yeah. Was there another point I was getting to about that? Let's backtrack. Let's backtrack. Where were we going with that, JP? Push all the chips in on the table, on yourself. You always. Oh yeah. So it was a great authentic act for me. As many strides for me to go to become more authentic, but that was a great initiator of me saying yes to more of me. So the crazy adventure that I learned, lesson number 2, is the real value that I can bring from the world comes from what I am, not what I think I'm supposed to be. Authenticity is always our best bet. And sometimes we don't know who the hell we are. And I think even that statement is an incredibly authentic statement. I think it's very authentic for us to say, like, I don't know who I am. And I think being yourself doesn't necessarily have anything to do with knowing who you are. Knowing is an act of the head. You know, this thing that's maybe 5,000 times dumber than the brilliance of our heart. So I think being ourselves, being is a little bit more of a heart-oriented reality. So is it possible that we can be ourselves even though we don't know who we are? And if we're being the person who's walking around saying, I don't know who I am, wow, ironically, that means we're being ourselves if we allow ourselves to be. But when we conceal and cover up, like I was concealing and covering up my comedic part, that to me is the opposite of inauthenticity. It's fabrication. It's manipulation. It's really trying to control how people see me by modulating what aspects of me I express. So, before we give away another book, I'll also loop back to a little backstory. And really all this is culminating in like, why the hell did I write this book? We'll get there. We'll get there. The night's young. Still got about 5.5 more hours on this broadcast. Getting long-winded tonight. Did it feel like I was hitting on you the way I just said that? Try that again. Pay attention. See if you feel hit on. Getting a little long-winded tonight. I'm not trying to hit on you. You're just being a narcissist if you thought so. You should have that checked out. So, backstory on my comedic aspect of myself. From my point of view, it's always been there. I think as a very young child, I developed my sense of humor, probably like so many other, call them comedians. Why so many other comedians develop their sense of humor is to deal with pain. Like, actually, I think humor is incredibly correlated with pain. It can either be a way it can be an escape attempt from pain, or it can be a way we actually heal pain. So as a child, it was a very unconscious escape attempt from pain. Escape attempt from pain? It was a very unconscious attempt to escape pain. Saying it that way makes me feel more coherent. So it's like as a child, I didn't know how to deal with and actually process and emote the sense of insignificance that I felt inside. But I felt it inside, and I didn't know how to handle feeling it inside. So I developed reactive mechanisms to disconnect from what I was actually feeling inside. And one of those mechanisms, I think probably the dominant one, excuse me, felt like I was about to throw up, was humor. If I could make someone laugh, then in that moment, it felt like I was significant, which was the complete opposite of the reality of insignificance that I was feeling inside. So, wow, I'm making you laugh. I feel like I matter to you, and therefore I'm significant to you. Therefore, I feel good because I don't feel how I actually feel. As long as you're laughing at something I'm doing or saying, life is good. So I develop an addiction to making people laugh. And it's like, wow, this relief, it lasts for almost 6 minutes. It's amazing. After 6 minutes, I got to make someone else laugh or make you laugh again. I don't know why. Like I'm picturing like my family over there. I don't think they're over there. You guys behind that wall? Okay, they're not over there. And that gave me, I don't know how many tens of thousands of repetitions of, throughout my childhood, maybe hundreds of thousands. I don't know. I didn't count. If I was counting, I probably wouldn't have been able to make people laugh. Watching someone count is just not funny. So I didn't count. So there were many, 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 many thousands of repetitions of reading people and then saying something based on how I was reading them. I think a lot of people who have a quick wit, sharp sense of humor, what we do within a microsecond, we somehow read people, and I think a lot of it's energetic, intuitive. I don't think it's like a logical thing. But we read a person and understand very quickly kind of like their nature, so that we know what we need to say in order to make them laugh. So I think learning how to make people laugh becomes a very intuitive process. And after tens of thousands of repetitions, this skill can become pretty sharp. So I think as a child, my way of dealing with pain, it was a way I escaped myself, and it gave me a skill. Calling it a skill seems just too vocational, but developing honestly this aspect of my personality, I consider it a great gift present day. I really, outside of anybody else who listens or watches my sense of humor, it brings more quality to my life. I'm very grateful for it. And it was developed out of me escaping myself. Now, I think there needs to be a transition, and from my delusional point of view, I've reached that transition. I might still be in it, but I think I've reached it where once upon a time my humor was used to escape myself. So like everybody's laughing, but ultimately I hurt more now that I escape myself with humor. And I'm just so escaped from myself that I don't feel how much more hurt I am because I'm numb. And then I become numb to my numbness. But now my intention is for my humor to be used as a way of connecting to myself and inviting other people to connect with themselves. That's why I like to use humor as a way of exposing truths, or dare say deeper possibilities beyond the surface of things. So for me, humor can actually harm when we use it to escape from ourselves, deflect from intimacy, deflect from emotions that are tough. And it can be incredibly healing, in my opinion, when it's used to lean deeper into ourselves. And I'll say more about that in a second. But first, arrange myself. Let's give away another book. So here's what you need to do to enter yourself in the second book giveaway of the evening. Is this one? Yeah, that one's fine. This can be your book. So, enter the poop face emoji. Like, you know, there's a pile of poop that has like a smiley face on it. So, poop emoji. Let it rip. Let your the bowels of your keyboard or your phone, let them release. Everybody poops. Everybody does. So why not poop into the comments section of this video? I'll be picking the lucky winner in a second, who's immature enough to enter their poop face emojis. I see the poops coming in. I love it. Love it. Wow. I see some multiple poops. Some of you guys are getting righteous. Like, wow, 4 poop emojis. I think I see 6 right there. Whoa. Didn't expect that. This is overwhelming. So, yeah, let's just not delay this. Let's pick the freaking winner. Shall we? We shall. Let's see. Let me scroll here. I've got so many things to scroll. And no, people, you can't just write the word poop. Okay, here's the, do the old eyes closed thing, because it just makes it feel so much more like Price is Right. Ooh, first person I looked at didn't have a poop emoji. You could have won, but you lost. Kelly Jean. Kelly Jean. Congratulations, Kelly. You've won a copy of How to Be Ultra Spiritual. Kelly, if you wouldn't mind, send me a direct message on my Facebook page and let me know your address. And wouldn't it be weird if this is like a big ploy? Like, let me get people's addresses so I can go look in their windows. This would, like, I've built my whole career to get you on this video. I've even written a book so that I could do this video about the book to lure you into the video to try to win a book that I'm showing you on the video, so that I could then get a few addresses so that I could go be a creep looking in people's windows. Like, I promise you I'm not going to do that. But that would be such an intelligent scheme if I was a peeping Tom. I almost wish I thought of all that. Like, I have no urge to look in people's windows. I deliberately try not to. But, like, that would just be good. Like, not good. Like, it'd be terrible, but it'd be funny. Probably not a healing funny. So anyway, Kelly Jean, congratulations. I appreciate you playing and dropping your pile of poop in the comments section. You are awesome. And another thing or two that I want to say about humor, I think a lot of healing can come from humor, the light side of humor. Again, I think there's a shadow side of humor, and for me, that shadow side is escaping yourself and hurting other people, and hurting yourself. Humor comes from pain, period. What if that's true? But what are we doing with that pain? Are we making the pain worse? Are we projecting the pain on someone else? Or are we using humor to help heal the pain? Are we connecting deeper to it? So, we all know, like, the shadow side of humor, like bullying, like picking on someone, making fun of them. Like, there's nothing funny about that way of being funny, in my opinion. That is someone who feels very hurt inside, trying to project their hurt on someone else. I'm hurt, and I don't want to be hurt, and I won't even acknowledge it. So let me make you hurt so that you can be the hurt one, so that I can believe the hurt is on you, so that I can feel free of my hurt for a little while. And then the bully has to go make fun of someone else, because it doesn't put the hurt on anyone else. It's just a bully hurting other people as a way of trying to escape their hurt. So, not that kind of humor. But the light side of humor, for me, there's a lot of healing, transformative qualities to it. I look at humor as an alchemist. if we can bring humor to a tough situation, mundane situation, trauma, wound, not usually with a trauma or wound, not in the acute phase, or else it's, we need to like be vulnerable first. But to me, there's a transformative alchemist type energy with humor where it can shift the energy of something. Have you ever had something happen where it's just like, wow, this is terrible? Then a few days later, you're able to laugh about it. I think when you're laughing about it, that laughter is helping you process and digest residues of the pain involved. And personally, one of what I would call a healing purpose of my humor, and you might not think I'm humorous. You're like, JP, you're very generous with your use of the term humor when you're describing yourself. It's all in the eye of the beholder. Can you hear that? Little pipe issue in my house. Where was I going with that? Yeah, so for me, humor, where was I going? That pipe threw me off. Humor, healing of humor. Oh yeah, here's where another purpose of kind of like the healing aspect of how I use humor is I like to expose deeper things. I think there's so many things in our society, our culture, in different like subtopics of our culture, spirituality, yoga, meditation, nutrition, fitness. There's so many things in there that we all know are true, but we all act like they're not there. In other words, there's just so much stuff below the surface that we're all affected by. But we might not know how to put it into words. We might not even know how to be aware of it, but we feel it at some level. So for me, I love to use like satire is really my flavor of humor. I like to use like the samurai sword of satire to cut through, I would call it the scar tissue of the psyche, our limited beliefs, our dogmatic thinking, our attachment to sort of like this surface and keeping things status quo. I love to slice through that to expose deeper truths. And one of the things that I really, really intend to do in this book is with a lot of the aspects of the New Age culture and spirituality, yoga, meditation, plant medicine, call it New Age stuff just to summarize it. My intention is to slice through all the dogma and scar tissue to expose deeper truths, to expose, our ego agendas that we attach to noble-looking hiding spots, and we hide our ego agendas. I don't know why I have my book open, but it's open. We attach our ego agendas behind these hiding spots of nobility, and we call those hiding spots veganism, paleoism, yoga, meditation, spirituality, religion, philosophy, atheism, politics. So it's all noble and altruistic looking, which makes it a great hiding spot. And that's exactly what works against us, because we hide our narcissism, our judgments, our intolerances behind these things that just look noble. So of course we don't see our judgmental narcissism and arrogance, because we're just acting out noble sounding words, noble sounding behaviors. But in reality, guess what? We're all human beings. We all poop out of our butts. We all have a poopy shadow side to us. We all have an ego that tries to, it wants to be egotistical. It wants to get a sense of significance. So in my opinion, one of the things I'm trying to do with this book is slice open the dogma of our minds, of your minds, invite you to do that with your mind. Slice through the scar tissue of your psyche so that you can get in touch with beliefs, philosophies, deeper truths that work better for you now. In fact, one of the underlying messages of this book that I've intended to be there is let go of that which served you that no longer serves you. And also there's another underlying message, other ones too, I'm not going to give away all of them, but another big one for me that's intended to be embedded here is step deeper into unapologetically being yourself and living your truth. Your truth, it's not the scar tissue dogma that we're looking to slice through. That might be things that you believe to be true that you carry from other people, other organizations, but it's not your truth. Unapologetically connecting to and living your truth, in my opinion, is something I hope you get from this book. And I use comedy. The whole book is, by the way, it's written in my comedic voice. It's all in character, if you will. So I use comedy as a language of delivering my perspectives. I use comedy as a way of inviting you to consider things that, at least for me, I wouldn't be willing to consider if I'm just preach these, someone preaches these concepts to me in a straightforward way. It's like, I shut down and get defensive. Even if I'm interested in what they're hearing, I might just let it go in my ears, but I won't let it go into my heart. Because funny thing about the human psyche, we don't want things to change. We find a lot of comfort in the familiar, and we find fear in the unfamiliar. Change is unfamiliar. Familiarity is comfortable, feels safe. So one of the things that we'll do is when someone's saying something that challenges what we believe to be true, we'll shut down. We won't let ourselves actually consider. And I'm not talking about being brainwashed. That's a terrible idea. But I'm talking about we don't even let ourselves consider what's being said. We don't contemplate it. We don't allow ourselves to let go of our old truth, to search for one that serves us better in this moment. However, having essentially the same message delivered through the language of humor, I won't pretend to completely understand it. However, if I was pretending to pretend to completely understand it, from my experience, speaking a message through humor means we get a lot less defense, a lot less psychological defense, because it looks like there's nothing to defend against. Why? Because there's nothing to defend against. There's probably nothing to defend against when a message is told to us in a straightforward, serious way, but it looks like there's something to defend against. It looks like there's a force pushing on us, and our psyches want to maintain our center of gravity of what we believe to be true, so we resist it. But when humor delivers the message, it looks so non-threatening. It looks so playful that we're actually, more often than not, willing to ingest the message deeper, to contemplate, is this something I can get essentially nutrition out of? Will this be nutritious for my mind, heart, body, and soul? If so, I'll start digesting it. I'll let it permeate. And if not, I'll regurgitate it. Just because someone said something and I contemplate it, considered it, doesn't mean it's going to work for me, doesn't mean it's going to be true for me. So I might regurgitate it. So that's something that happens. And also, I will say that I think laughter is a beautiful, effective biohack. I think nobody's doctor has ever said, you need to laugh less. Be careful. I think laughter is something that's it's probably like the most under-consumed nutrient in humanity, whatever. I think, in other words, I think we get so much mind-body benefit when we laugh more. I also think being able to laugh about things is a great biohack to slice open our mind so that we can have an open mind, not a closed mind, when we can laugh about anything, especially laughing about things that are very important to us, when we can be playful and not take our beliefs, our values so seriously. Maybe they're very important to us. Maybe they're very valuable to us, but that's not what I'm saying. Like, respect that. What I'm saying is we don't take them very seriously. We can actually be playful with them. I think somewhere along the line, we brainwashed ourselves into believing if something is very important to me, then I have to take it seriously. And it's going to be a sin to laugh about it. It's going to be a sin to question it. It's going to be a sin to be playful with it. But it's like, that's sort of like maybe just reactive, fear-based, survival-oriented programming that might not serve me so well. So maybe what I want to do is look at the things that are so important to me, my beliefs, my practices that are so important to me, and I'll honor them. Oh, sorry, I got a call. I would have been angry if that call shut my phone off. I want to honor them, and I think we can actually honor our beliefs. We can honor what's most important to us if we become playful with it. Not playful 24/7, but bring playfulness to it, if that makes a little bit of sense. If we get stuck in playfulness and that's all we are, let's say, yeah, congratulations, now you got a mental disorder. Your old mental disorder is you were serious all the time. Now your mental disorder is you can't stop joking around. And that was like, Batman fought that guy. He was kind of psychotic and deranged. So to me, it's one of the other intentions of why I wrote this book is I'd love to offer you a biohack to open your mind further. I think an open mind that allows us to keep learning, growing. I think it allows us to evolve our sense of who we are, hopefully continually evolve it. However, if we're stuck in the posture of seriousness, the constriction of seriousness, guess what happens to our mind? It's super freaking closed. How do I know that? Because my fist is closed and I'm using my fist as an analogy to my mind. And that's scientific right there. I just proved it. However, if we can be playful, then we have an open mind. We're not so attached. We're not constricted. We're not controlled. We're surrendered. It's like, open hands. This is fine. And to me, that's the energy of comedy. The light side of comedy, not comedy to hurt people, but comedy to help people. It's like an open-handed energy, and that's why we don't feel so threatened and defensive when messages are delivered through comedy. But when messages are delivered through seriousness, it's like if you see two clenched fists coming at you, or just sitting right there, it's natural. You're going to get defensive. Closed mind of seriousness, playful mind equals open mind. See? My hand analogy just proved your mind will be more open the more playful you can be with yourself, your sense of self, and the beliefs that are important to you. That was cutting edge science right there. I think there's a lot of books that need to be rewritten now. A lot of, like all Einstein's work probably needs to be rewritten. It's like, look, I figured out how to do this, and this symbolizes a lot. So with that said, I appreciate you tuning in and paying attention to why I wrote the book, some of the background behind the scenes of my comedy. And I will also say this. Before I do that, time for a shameless promotion. If you're just joining, I would appreciate the living heck out of you if you're moved to grab a copy of my new book. It's available now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can also go to howtobeultraspiritual.com. There's some special offers available for you there. How to Be Ultra Spiritual, 12 and a half steps to spiritual superiority. Why 12 and a half? Because that's how many there are. Any other questions? We'll get to questions in a second. I so appreciate you paying attention to a little bit of the background behind my book, my comedy. And I will say, I put my heart and soul into this book. I really did. And it was May 2015, so what's that? Almost 2 years ago. That's when publishers started to approach me, asking me would I be interested in writing a comedic book? And at the time, like I was thinking like, oh, I'll write a book one day, long in the future, because I was thinking about books from the perspective of like serious, like, oh, it's just sincere, straightforward writing. It had never even crossed my mind to write a comedy book from my character's perspective. The serious writing, it's like, I'd rather throw up in my mouth right now. I'll do that some other, later on in this lifetime. But yeah, the idea, it just lit me up inside. Do you ever, like when you know something's a yes for you, you just feel like levity inside of you, you feel light? Do you? I do. Quit projecting myself onto you. And when something feels like this isn't for me, like there's just heaviness or constriction. So I got that very, very apparent, like this is a yes. And it was very scary and intimidating for me because I've never written a book before. It's like, I don't know, can I even do this? But I'm getting a yes, so I know I have to try. So, and I also knew, because I have so much respect for creativity, and honestly also so much respect for like my creativity, my creative muse, that I absolutely was not willing to just regurgitate material from my videos. Like, oh, let me write the same stuff in a book. That to me, that was an absolutely not. I needed to go into a fresh well of creativity, and I found out like a deeper well of creativity, because it's one thing to write like a 5-minute long video. It's another thing to write a 250 long page book. 250 long page book? Is that how you would say that? Maybe. So anyway, it was a beautiful deep dive into the well of creativity for me. It was really a kind of a hero's journey inside of me. Really a rite of passage. And from my point of view, before anybody saw the book, writing the book was a win for me, because I had so much growth, so much benefit just from writing the book. Whereas if someone came along and burned all the books, erased all the digital copies of the book, and erased the audio book, then I would say, wow, writing that book was still worth it. It really was. I got so much enrichment out of it. Yay for me. Very happy about that. And was there another point I was going to make there? Oh, yeah. Get to the other point, JP. So with that said, I actually started writing the book, and before I knew which publisher I was going to go with, and we were talking to a number of other different publishers, but the publisher I ended up going with was the one deep in my heart, I knew it was going to be them, and I'm so glad it's them. Sounds True. Sounds True. I absolutely love you. I'm so happy to be on a team with you. You guys being in this project with me, it's like I'd have it no other way. I mean, I've been a Sounds True fan for so long, and to be a part of the Sounds True family, and every single freaking person in Sounds True who I've worked with on this project has been nothing but a person who I would call high vibration, and they've been all people who really respect my creativity. So when I'm wanting to do off-the-wall stuff, all they're saying is, yeah, that's you. That's a great idea for the book, JP. I'm like, wow, I thought I was supposed to get a lot of resistance and, pushback from the publisher, because I listen to a lot of people talk about this kind of stuff. They're like, no, yeah, we want you to do your book. I'm like, oh, I love you guys. So I'm super pumped that on Tuesday I'll be in Boulder, Colorado, where Sounds True is located, doing the book, the first book launch event with Sounds True in Boulder. It just feels like that's the birth canal where everything should be pushed through. And with that said, in a second, I'm going to do the third book giveaway. I'm going to be getting to your guys' questions super freaking soon. And I will just say that the audio book of the book to be redundant with using the same words more than I should. That's available, should be on audible.com and wherever else you get audiobooks. I'm pumped about that. It's me delivering the message. And when I did the audiobook, I absolutely refused to succumb to the notion of read the freaking book and let it sound like I'm just reading a book. Because I won't listen to audiobooks. One, I won't listen to audiobooks that aren't read by the actual author. A little dogma. Maybe I should question that. And two, even if the audiobook is read by the author, I won't keep listening to it if it sounds like the author is just reading a book. Like, there's a reason why, we read children bedtime stories. It's because we're such boring readers. It is so boring to listen to someone read. It just puts us to sleep. So I wasn't willing to do that. I wanted to show up and make an emotional impact. Like, I wanted to bring it for the recording of the audiobook. So I was very in tune, to the feelings going on in the book, so that I could actually deliver the audiobook the way I would deliver a video. I want it to be lively, not some dead, monotone piece of crap that I wouldn't listen to. So anyway, with that said, if you're moved to grab the audiobook or the actual book, I'd be honored. So let's start taking some of your guys' questions. We'll do the last book giveaway in a little bit. Let's gather our thoughts. Take a breath. It's a very spiritual thing to do. The breath isn't, but announcing that we're going to take a breath. That's the spiritual thing. Have a sip of kombucha. Let's all pet our dogs for a second, who are on the couch next to us. Oh, I love you, Zephyr. So happy you're here, buddy. Yeah, he's like, screw you. Would you stop talking? I'm trying to sleep. I'll stop talking a little while. To get the ball rolling on questions, there's a few that have been sent to me already that have been given to me by my assistant. So let's start the bidding with those. Oh, and by the way, when I see a question, I can't help but engage with it. Someone asked, what's my Enneagram type? I don't know. I used to know, but I forgot. It's either a 9 or a 7 or a 4 or an 8 or a 5 or a 1, maybe a 2. I guarantee it's one of those. Question from Sam Poppy. Sam, thank you for that question. Why does your satire work so well? Well, first off, thank you for thinking it does work so well. So if we pretend that it does work well, I think one of the reasons why it works well is it's authentic to me. It's just my natural fingerprint of humor. That's one of the reasons why I think it works well. I think another reason why it works well is satire seems to be a way to expose truth without trying to dogmatically push people into an equally delusional point of view. So you know how oftentimes when someone's stuck in a belief and you have the friend or whoever it is, trying to get them out of that dogmatic belief, but they're trying to push them right into another dogmatic belief. Satire seems to be a little bit more ninja zen-like, where it slices open the dogma and it lets you freaking decide. Lets you decide, well, take a look at what we just exposed. You get to be the judge of how ridiculous or not it is. And you get to be the judge of what direction you go from here, what truer truth you connect with from here. Satire doesn't try to do that for you. It lets you do that. And that's one of the reasons why I think satire can be so confusing. And I love that. It's like I get so many messages of essentially people saying, JP, I'm confused. Are you, people watch my flat earth video and are you a flat earth believer, or do you think flat earth believers are stupid And I love the confusion. That's part of the beauty of satire. I'm not trying to dogmatically push people in either direction. Or people watch the if meat eaters acted like vegan video. People are like, well, are you against vegans or are you against meat eaters? I don't get it. And to me, that confusion is beautiful because it even exposes people to their reactive assumption that I'm against either, because I'm not against either. So to me, that's in the satire lets you figure it out. So in my opinion, I'm going to be biased here. To me, satire is an intelligent form of humor. Whereas like slapstick humor, where you just basically over-exaggerate stuff, you make characteristics bigger, you make sounds louder, you wear a bigger necklace and that's somehow funny. To me, that's sort of like stupid humor. Great humor, but stupid humor. In satire, to me, it's an intelligent form of humor. And how narcissistic of me to say that. Another question is what you do different from stand-up comedy. Why or why not? It's a great question. I'm going to give you a very confusing answer. Probably means I'm confused. So when I go to conferences, festivals, when I do stage performances, and I'm doing comedy from the stage, I call it stand-up comedy, but it's not really stand-up comedy. For me, stand-up comedy it's a specific art form, and I have so much respect for that art form and the stand-up comedians who practice it. A big part of true stand-up comedy is you have an audience who doesn't know you, and they're probably drunk. And part of the art of that stand-up comedy is you've got to win the audience over. Like that's like an initial thing that either has to happen or like you try to make it happen with regular stand-up comedy. But when I'm doing stage performances, I'm doing comedy and I am standing up. I'm doing comedy with people who mostly already know of me. So I don't need to rely on the, call it the art of winning an audience over, which I think is a big part of stand-up comedy, and that's not a part of what I do from the stage. In out of respect for stand-up comedians who are going around to a bunch of different clubs, I like to here publicly differentiate. Like I don't consider myself a stand-up comedian because I don't do what they do. I honestly have it a little bit easier. And also, like, at least at this time, I don't have a desire to go, do comedy for a bunch of drunk strangers who don't know me and trying to win them over. I'd rather do comedy to drunk people who do know me. And sober people who do know me. Why? Because I get to do more like my material that's true to my heart rather than material that's fabricated to try to win people over who I don't necessarily even care to win over. It's like I care about speaking my truth. So yeah, with that said, that's how I differentiate what I do even when I'm on stage versus normal stand-up comedy. So in short, it's like I do my version of stand-up comedy and also stand-up authenticity. Let's see. Let me take a look at your questions here. By the way, you can write questions in. I'm going to do my best to get to as many of them as I possibly can before my phone dies. And if it's possible to make your questions less than 300 lines long, that'd be awesome. Let's just see. Heidi Andrade. Hello, JP Sears. Hello, Heidi Andrade. How much of satire, irony, or sarcasm is what you consider real humor as to not being a humorous bully to someone else? Where would you draw the line? Yeah, absolutely. To me, satire, sarcasm, irony, it can be very much used by a bully. So to me, it's not necessarily, what style of humor is geared towards like helping people versus harming people. Any style of humor can be used to hurt or help. So to me, it goes down to who's delivering it. How the heck does it feel to the audience? How does it feel to that person? So there isn't a line that I would draw, but it's really a case-by-case basis, in my opinion. I love the question, Heidi. Oh, I called you Heidi. It's Heider. I think I called you that. Dylan Miller, organic toilet paper, question mark? That is not a question, just because you put a question mark on it. But if you're asking if I'd like some organic toilet paper, yeah, please. Catherine Crawford asks, is your family going to watch this whole thing? It's a good question. I would guess my dad would watch this video tomorrow. I'm guessing my mom won't. Let's see. Heather Lee McCormack asks, where do you go to re-energize and get inspired? Ideally, I go home. I'm at my home right now. I travel a lot, doing a lot of gigs and engagements. So to me, it's very recharging to be home. I'm fortunate enough where sometimes like I get offered, like, JP, come to our resort, we'll put you up, we'll pay for all your travel. And to me, that's not a vacation. It's like I would be losing value because that would take time away from me being at home with Zephyr. And to me, it's very re-energizing being at home. And how do I get inspired? Paying attention. Paying attention to what's happening, especially what's happening underneath the obvious. Look at the obvious and then look beyond the obvious so you can see underneath the obvious. Man, life is way more entertaining. It's way more interesting if you're looking under the obvious. So I like to look under the obvious. In my life, look under the obvious in other people's lives. What's someone saying? But what are they really saying? What's the story under their story? In looking at how people are acting, here's something interesting that really inspires me. Listening to the way people talk, then observing the way they act. And the more distance there is between that, to me, the more inspiration there is for comedy. I think I heard Stephen Colbert once use this analogy, like where you have two hands like this. It was brilliant. Let's see. John Shaw, do you think you have narcissistic traits? No offense. John, you spelled offense wrong. I'm a little offended by that, and I'm significantly offended by your question, John. By the way, if you haven't, please feel free to check out my recent video called How to Be Offended. I'm going to have to figure out how to charge my phone. Bear with me a second. And John, this is a good question. I love it. And let's see if this does it. Come on, you son of a gun. In short, John, let's get to the bottom of this. Yeah, I do think I have narcissistic traits. I think everybody does. That doesn't mean I think everybody's a diagnosable narcissist. Man, tripods are stupid. We're going to be a little crooked here. Yeah, and do I think I'm diagnosable? That's so crooked. Do I think I'm diagnosable as a narcissist? No, I don't. And that's probably a narcissistic thing of me to say. But yeah, to me, narcissism has, and I'm talking about like in the non-clinical sense here, like let's let it be something we can all relate to. To me, narcissism is when we make it all about us. Point number 2 is when we are covertly trying to establish a sense of significance in why we matter. With authenticity and transparency, I think we're trying to connect with our significance on the inside rather than establish it on the outside, and we're very open with it, hence vulnerability, rather than being deceitful about it and covert. So, love the question, John. Beth Casey, do you view yourself as a motivational speaker? No, I don't. I view myself as a speaker, but I would call it a more like self-transformative speaker / comedy / guy with red hair / guy with blue eyes. Lacey Dunn, is the comedy always related to yoga? No, just some. Let me get some more randomness in these questions. Lori Kreth, where's your favorite place to travel to? One of my favorite places, I mentioned a second ago, is I love to travel to my house and be here for a little while. But probably the most direct answer is Kauai. Oh, such a beautiful place. I love Kauai. And let's see. Motorboats. That's an interesting name. JP, do you play tennis? It's my favorite. Are you asking me if it's your favorite? Or are you asking me if I play tennis? I'm confused. I don't play tennis, and yes, it's your favorite. You're welcome. I think we've all learned something. Lena Kaprick asks, are you finding this success / transition overwhelming? This social media thing can be exhausting. Yeah, so the success transition, like a lot of opportunities, to me, the overwhelming part at times is when I have a lot on my schedule, which is often, but especially when there's a lot of travel on my schedule while there's a lot of things to do on my schedule, that can be exhausting for me. And there's times where I have more peace and flow with it, and times where I'm a little bit more stressed and holding my breath about it. I don't find social media itself exhausting because I don't engage with it beyond my capacity. I make posts, I respond to some comments. I can't get to nearly all of them. I can't get to nearly all the messages that come in. If I did try to get to all the messages that come in, reply to all the comments, there wouldn't be any of me left. It would be, people who are reaching out to me because they like what I'm doing, but me responding to every single person keeps me from doing what I do. So in other words, before too long, I can't do the very thing that made these people reaching out to me want to reach out to me. And I really had to find my balance on that the hard way. Let's see. Zezuron from YouTube. A lot of the points you make, my ethics / philosophy professor also talked about. Feel like I can listen to you instead of paying for classes. That's right on. Maybe you should. How much are you paying for your tuition? 10, 20 grand a year? I'll keep talking to you for 19 grand a year. Expensive conversation, this one. Christine Murray, pretty pumped that your new book, what am I doing? Pretty pumped that your new book comes out on my birthday, and I've already pre-ordered it. Wow. Thank you, Kristen, very much for pre-ordering my book, and happy birthday to my book on March 7th. And you, Kristen. I'm guessing you're older than my book. Billy Copeland, how much for the art behind me? Oh, I'll give it to you for $27,000. Michelle Love, great question. Do I have another paid job? What did I do before this? So no, I don't have another paid job. I don't even know what a job is. So earlier in this broadcast, I won't belabor it. You might have been on, maybe not, but for the past 15 years, my dominant mode of earning a living has been my one-on-one emotional healing client coaching practice. And that, as of January, I've given up. I've got, another month or so of clients that have already been on my schedule, and I'll be working with them and loving it. But I have been called to let that go, which has been scary for me and also liberating, because it's been my heart, letting me know, like, it's time to let this go. My client practice, it's been a really great thing for me. It's allowed me to earn a wonderful living. And it's easy to let crappy things go, and it's hard to let great things go. So, it's kind of like that's how I used to earn a living, and I'm letting that go. And there's so many other opportunities that I've been dancing with that, one, it's a responsible decision, and two, it's a decision my inner calling has been asking me to make. So now I just get paid for being so handsome. Shane Hester, how can I be offended by everything? I just can't get the hang of it. Shane, I would recommend you watching my How to Be Offended video at least 7 more times, and preferably leave it on while you're sleeping. Just leave it on like a loop, like repeat, so that you can become more subconsciously programmed with how you can better be offended. If you're watching this right now, I'm so offended. By the way, thank you everyone who's watched that recent video of mine. It's gotten a good amount of views and shares, so thank you for watching it. And if you shared it, thank you. I so appreciate you. Serena Elm, who would you have liked to see as president this term? Bernie Sanders. And my guess is he's not going to do a come-from-behind victory. Alicia Larson, do you have any tips for me as a fellow redhead? Yes, our people have been through a lot. We need to stick together. We've overcome a lot of adversity, sunburn mostly. So stay the hell out of the sun is my advice for you, Alicia. From one redhead to the next. Another question, do I do drugs? No. Do you think I should? Just not my thing. With that said, let me hit just another couple quick ones, and then I'm going to let you guys go. We're going to go make up things for us to do for ourselves the rest of the night. Oh, am I supposed to give away? How many books have I given away? 2 or 3? I think I've only given away 2, and I definitely am giving away 3. But I have given away 3, and here comes number 4, but I think it's number 3. So what are we going to do to have you enter to win this book? Let's just say, I love hearts. So if you can emoji into the comments section a heart and a smiley face, you're going to be entered to win this book. I'll pick a winner in like 97 seconds. See a lot of hearts. There we go. Hearts and smiley faces. Life is good. Thank you, hearts and smiley faces. Thank you guys, by the way, for just hanging out with me. Clayton on YouTube, the best things in life aren't things. Ooh, amen to that, brother. Daniel Russell, this is an important question. How did you get such symmetrical gray spots on your beard? Was it sheer willpower? Daniel, I'm offended that you think the gray spots on my beard are gray. How dare you? Does that answer your question? Hopefully. Let's see. End your story, start your life. That was another great comment. That reminds me of a comment from Tony Robbins. He says, and I just absolutely love it, pain comes from sensations, suffering comes from stories. See underneath the obvious so you can go beyond your story and end your suffering. Pain never hurt anybody. I think trying to escape from our pain is what hurts people. Andrew Saunders, do I get offended easily? I think it's tough to offend me, honestly. I probably, I'm so numb. I can't feel my feelings. Maybe that's it, and maybe there's other reasons why I'm harder to offend. Will I do an ultra spiritual 12-step group video? No, most likely not. It seemed, the 12-step groups, I have so much respect for them, and the people that go into those, especially in the beginning stages, they're in such a fragile place. I don't necessarily, I don't think they would have the stability to be able to observe themselves enough to laugh at themselves. So in that kind of situation, I would be afraid that my humor would be a hurting force, not a helping force. So I won't be doing a 12-step group video. Let's see. Shaking phones and stuff. Life is good. Cool. So you guys, there's so many of you putting hearts and smiley faces in. I love you guys all. I just love the love of hearts and smiley faces, even though you're so coerced into it. Win my book by entering these hearts and smiley faces. And then I temporarily forget that I said that so that I can think that you're just genuinely giving me hearts and smiley faces because you love me and you're happy with me. I like that story. Suffering comes from stories. Pain comes from sensations. Maybe I need to go beyond that. So let's just do a little randomness, eyes closed. Mandy Lou. Mandy, congratulations. You've won How to Be Ultra Spiritual, 12 and a half Steps to Spiritual Superiority. Mandy Lou, if you wouldn't mind, send me a direct message on Facebook. Let me know your address, and I'd be thrilled to send a book your way. Signed copy of the book so that it'll be either worth more or less to you, just depending on how you value things that I sign. So before we close, thank you for you being someone who is weird enough that you're paying attention to me, paying attention to the work that I do, paying attention to the videos that I make, the messages that I speak. I so appreciate you. If you're moved to do it, you're welcome to grab a copy. Man, I'm pushing that thing down your throat. I'm going to shut up about the book. You can grab it if you want. I'd be grateful. It's I start whispering about the book so that I can still be under the illusion that I've shut up about it. But yes, thank you so much for joining me tonight and paying attention to some of the backstory about myself, my work, my humor, my comedy of my videos, the book. I so appreciate you guys. If you're going to be in Boulder, Colorado on Tuesday, I look forward to seeing you there. I'll also be doing some swings around the country. I'll be going to New York in a couple weeks, doing a book event there. Then Vancouver, Portland, LA, Encinitas. Those are the ones I can remember at this point anyway. So, love you guys. Talk to y'all soon.